I just wanted to address the concerns about the 223 being enough gun for deer hunting. Back, in the 80s and 90s, my brother hunted with the 223. I said, that's not enough gun. It doesn't kill the deer. You're going to need a bigger bullet and bigger round and more power, more powder. And anyway, but my brother continued to kill deer with it. I hunted with the 270 for years. When my kids turned about 10, I think 9 or 10, I let them go hunting, and we started shooting white-tailed does. In Texas Panhandle, most of our does are typically going to field dress around 90 to 100 pounds. And when I saw what the round did to the first doe my daughter shot, which it broke the humerus and punched through ribs and just made mincemeat out of the heart and the lower part of the lungs. And I was like, hey, I think that'll work just fine. I'm not here to promote any manufacturers or anything like that. I shoot the Hornady 55 grain VMAX. And I know V stands for varmint. I know what it's designed for, but it works great on white-tailed deer. Now, what I noticed was after my daughter killed that first doe, I thought, I think I'll start using that. And I did. And I've used it for the last, so my daughter's now 24, so that's been about 14, 15 years. During that time, we put up about 10 to 12 deer per year, which means we are at around somewhere between 100, 150 or more deer that we have put in our freezer without a single loss. Now, I did have to put the dog on one to track, but that was not the round's fault. That was a poorly placed shot. So, anyway, 223 with a 55 grain VMAX. Now, a lot of guys are going to shoot the 60, I think it's 63 or 64, whatever it is. My barrel doesn't have enough twist for that bullet, but it loves this one. I shoot a Savage, and it loves the Hornady 55 grain VMAX. And so I took video of the doe we just shot just the other day, and here I am. I had the wherewithal to put a GoPro on top of my head, and I snuck up on these deer about half a mile. And the doe, she's on the far left, just below the horizon. She's that little dot. And made a good shot on her. I'll explain that more. And I'm watching her right now as she runs a little ways. It's going to be a little back. Oh, no, down she went. Down she went. That was 10 seconds from impact to dead deer. However, that did... It's going to be a gut buster. I talked about not taking this shot, quartering toward shot. Kind of shot I tell people not to take with a 223. So I kind of pulled it a little to the left. So she was facing to my right, quartering at me. Instead of shooting around the point of the shoulder, I moved it just back a little, which means I know I busted gut, but obviously I got some important stuff too. She ran maybe, I don't know, 50, 75 yards. And now here I am trying to find her. You wouldn't think out in that open country it'd be hard, but the grass is so tall, you have to mark it really well, because when you get over there, everything looks the same. Yeah, here she is right here. There she is. So that was a 223 working very effectively. But anyway, but there it is. Let me real quick show for comparison's sake. Here is a 30-06 round, because everybody knows the 30-06 is quite the popular big game hunting round. That's a 30-06 next to a 223. That's a 150 grain soft point. It's not the little plastic tip, ballistic tip, or whatever you call these things. Sorry, I'm really not a gun guy. I mean, I can shoot. I got a gun that shoots well, ammo I like. I like to get close before I shoot. I don't take crazy long shots. So let's look at that bullet. So there's the before bullet right there, the 55 grain VMAX. And after it has punched through two ribs, well, let's go in order. The skin, the scapula, two ribs, going through the body, through another rib, And I found this lodged in the offside hide. Now, it did not exit. So before y'all go running around, go get a 223 and start blasting deer with it, you need to know that you are not going to get much of a blood trail. Okay, I'll hunt out on the open prairie where I don't need a blood trail. I can usually watch them go down. They usually won't go but maybe 50, sometimes as far as 100 yards, kind of depends. But you can see that bullet did a wonderful job. And what a lot of guys say, well, that blew up. When it hits them, it'll blow up. Well, yeah, it also punched all the way through the deer's body cavity. And remember, this is after shattering the scapula, 2 ribs, through the upper portion of the lungs, and through another rib, and out and lodged in the offside hide. So I hope that will address people who are concerned that the 223 is not enough gun to kill a deer. Obviously it is. That's 100 to 150 in our freezer without a single loss. And you know, even I want to address the concerns of even some of the state agencies like the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. They actually have on some of the wildlife management areas on the drawn deer hunts have a minimum of a 243, which, you know, that's kind of trying to cover their bases, I guess. I don't know. I mean, really, if you're shooting at an animal that's quartering toward you and you're shooting it on the corner of the shoulder, you're taking chances. Unless you're shooting something, you know, fairly big with a soft nose bullet that'll really penetrate. So if the bullet goes where you're aiming, then you got no problems. If it hits forward or high or anything like that, it doesn't matter what you're shooting. If you don't hit something vital, you're not going to kill it. Having a bigger bullet doesn't fix bad shots, okay? I've also watched a lot of videos. What I found was there's a whole lot of people that had opinions about the 223, but none of them that have hunted with it extensively like I have and like my kids have. And so whatever they may say, you know, it's really not enough gun. And what's really fun, it cracks me up, is they say, you know, you're probably good out to about 100, 150 yards. We've killed deer. This bullet right here, deer was 200 yards from me. 200 yards. And I've shot them out to 300. I tend to try not to do that. It depends on the situation and how good a shot I got, and mainly how good a rest I have. So it's the 300 yard part isn't so much about the bullet or the round as much as it is my ability to make a good shot and put it where I wanted to put it. Anyway, so that's kind of the point. And I'm sorry for you 6.5 Creedmoor guys, because 6.5 Creedmoor is also plenty of gun to kill a deer. And it's not about the gun, it's about where you're putting it and the shots that you're taking. For those of you wanting to start a kid off hunting and you're concerned that a 223 isn't enough, here's your evidence. The last and most important thing to say on the 223 is shot selection, which means what angle is the deer standing, okay? If the deer's broadside, aim behind the shoulder, through the ribs, not so far back that you get into rooming, and make a good shot, and it's going to kill them every time. So anyway, hope that helps shed some light on the 223 from an experienced hand. Thanks. And now my little squirrely buddy. I know I'm being mean to you, because now I'm teasing you, and I ain't got nothing for you, do I? Nope, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm sorry, it's not a nut, it's a camera. It's a camera. No, you can't have it. There, just so I wouldn't think I was being mean.